Hello, everybody. This is Sylvia from GoateaProductions,
This is Sean from GoateaProductions.
and we landed on a motherfucking Comet.
Yeah, if you haven't heard the news, which has been literally everywhere, even on Twitter where people have no idea what they're talking about, are still saying, we landed a 10-year mission and just landed on a comet.
Because let's face it, that just sounds freaking amazing.
That's
doesn't
just... That's what we do. It wasn't done by NASA either. It was done by the European Space Program. I can't remember their name at the moment.
That's right. It was done by European NASA. No, not really. But well, essentially, no.
No.
Like I'm gonna stop, denigrating their name. But I guess the point is, yeah, 10 years to start launch in 2004. That's crazy, and the logistics of that must be ridiculous. I don't know if you know this, Sean. Space is pretty darn big.
It is really big, and they had to hit a moving target by matching its speed, and they can't.
Yeah.
They can't just do it like getting into orbit around a planet because
It's got no gravity
it
to
has
speak
gravity.
of, essentially.
But I
Yeah.
think the gravity, or the figure on it was, it is 1/10,000th the gravity of Earth.
It is very low. So much so, I think, was it Thunderfoot actually, he just posted a video. Anyone knows Thunderfoot, great. He just did a video where he said that if he were to just be on the comet and jump, not only could he jump into orbit, he could jump and reach escape velocity. That's how little gravity there is, essentially. It's essentially microgravity, right? It's 3 kilometers across, this asteroid. And, it's got the basic components of the solar system, right? That's why they wanted to go there, because it held clues to early times in the solar system.
It's essentially just a portal back in time that we can examine. Like on Earth, we can do things like carbon dating, where we'll go to the Arctic and we'll dig a big fuck off hole in the ice, and we check the carbon. And I think, so you know about this more than me. You check how much it's decayed, right? Because we know how much it decays over time.
Yeah, if I haven't actually looked into like carbon dating specifically in a little while. I know I did in some of my classes in school. I think both chemistry and geology. So yeah, I believe it's the amount of nitrogen that turns into carbon-14, and then that will decay into carbon-12, or I know it has something to do with nitrogen, carbon-12, and carbon-14, basically the ratio of those three isotopes, atoms and isotopes, to one another, and that's essentially how they get the age, yeah. And then what another thing we can do is use, telescopes and focus as far out into the horizon as possible to see old light and essentially look back in time to the creation of the universe.
The early primordial ooze that was the beginning of the universe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And just to say, we essentially took a speck and we launched it, and we had calculations lasting 10 years and made it so this speck intercepted and matched speeds with another speck. That's like taking 2 grains of sand and putting them on a pool table and being able to hit one into the other while they're both constantly moving.
And while you have giant mass, would you use a pool table as an analogy?
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't really listening to you.
Like
But
usual.
yeah, that, and then you did that, but then instead of a flat pool table, you had ones with giant divots in it, and the salt has to go around them. This, I think, did 3 slingshots around both the Earth and Mars, which is ridiculous.
They had to do all the calculations for it orbiting other planets before reaching this comet.
It's
on
crazy.
A huge trajectory through the solar system. And then they detached the lander from the satellite that brought it all the way there. And so the satellite is essentially orbiting, but really what it's doing is it's just sitting just off the surface. And it detaches this lander called Philae, and it comes down, and since it has no gravity, in order to anchor it to the surface, instead of using gravity, it attaches itself with 2 harpoons. It gets close to the surface, or it got close to the surface, and fired 2 harpoons into the surface and reeled itself in like some kind of interstellar whale hunter.
You say that, but you're missing one of the most, apparently it was one of the most, scary parts of that, was it went close to the surface too quickly, bounced off, about 3 kilometers into the quote-unquote air, away from this comet. I'm not even going to call it ground. Was up there for a couple hours, and then came back, bounced again, and was up in the air for another about 7 minutes or so, and then finally like landed, and then they could harpoon it. So it was about a kilometer away from where it should have been.
Right.
And actually that resulted in a point where it's somewhere that doesn't have as much light. Actually, at the time of recording, there was about 3 hours since the comet actually lost all power, unfortunately. And now they're just waiting for it to turn towards the sun so it can get some more energy and start sending back more data.
And they can't control it from Earth either. They essentially have to rely purely on calculations because there's a, what was it, a 23-minute delay? 28-minute delay between the time it sends data and it gets to us. So we have to send it all its instructions 28 minutes in advance or more with all the calculations it needs. And if those calculations are wrong, we need to be very, very, very quick in sending them within that 28-minute window before it does whatever it's not supposed to do.
Yeah. So let's spend less time wearing crazy shirts. I'm not even going to go there. You know what I'm talking about, Sean?
I'm so angry that people freaked out that this incredibly smart person who landed something on a fucking comet after 10 years, and people freaked out because he was wearing a shirt with half-naked women on it. Not even naked women, just half-naked women.
Even though some news places did report it as naked women. Anyway.
Yeah, because they like to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sensationalize.
There you go, sensationalize.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, this actually reminds me, we were just talking about this a couple minutes ago, or hours, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't, this is going to sort of get away from this topic, but Sean recently got into playing Magic.
I did.
And he went to the store, bought 40 or 50 sleeves.
Yep.
Card sleeves for, I believe, $4.
$4.
And he has a 60-card deck. So the way he pitches to me is, I should have just bought them on the internet. I could have bought 1,000 sleeves for how much? $3?
$3.
From the same company. But the way he told me this is like, instead, I had to pay $8 to sleeve a deck of cards. And to which I said, you are correct, but you are completely misrepresenting the data. To which his response was,
my data isn't technically wrong, however, it is misleading.
Yeah, just like, what'd you
just
say,
like Fox News.
where you are right.
It's Fox News approach where the data is not wrong, but incredibly misleading, because there was a deck of 60 cards, but the card sleeves come in 50 sleeve packs. So what I needed to do is I needed to buy 2 decks, but really I only needed to buy 1 plus 10, but I still spent $8. So it makes it sound like I have a 100 card deck.
Yeah. How's your deck in the box over there? Okay,
my deck in the box is well protected.
Stop. This is a video about this amazing scientific triumph, not magic. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty insane. I believe it was the Comet last time I checked. I mean, it hasn't exactly changed velocity too much in the past however long, but I believe it was like 48,000 kilometers per hour. I'm probably not getting that right at all.
I think you're thinking of the flyby. This is one of the farthest missions we've ever done to do something like this. Mm-hmm. But I think you're thinking of the fastest flyby, which was, I can't remember the year, and I'm not going to try it because I'd screw it up. We had a flyby of Halley's Comet.
Right.
I want to say it was 45 or 47 kilometers per second. We flew past it, and at that speed, we were going so fast that the dust surrounding it, something smaller than a pebble, broke the lens on the camera, because it was moving not kilometers per hour, it was moving kilometers per second.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Incredibly fast. It was in range of this comet for an instant, but that was a different mission.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how it is in space, right? Like, everything just goes stupidly fast, doesn't it?
Everything is relative. That's our favorite thing in space.
Everything is relative, yeah.
Except for light.
Well,
Light's a fucking rebel, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's a universal
it's
constant.
Always it's part of it's always going at the speed of light
Yeah.
relative to you, so I guess it is it's not relative, yeah.
Exactly. It's the universal constant.
Did I just affirm what I was saying or disprove myself?
Disprove it.
Oh, did I? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, always great to know. And it's these kinds of things like these kind of space missions that like really sort of give me fun for all the cool stuff that really does exist out there. Like I can't wait for, I believe it's the Cassini probe if I'm not mistaken. That's currently heading out of the solar system into the Oort cloud, Kuiper belt, and then Oort cloud, I guess. But
Isn't that
it's gonna
Voyager?
pass by. Yes, thank you. I knew
Voyager
Cassini
hit
wasn't
interstellar
right.
space
A little
earlier
while
last
ago.
year.
Yeah, interstellar space in quotes. But yes,
Well,
I
it got
agree.
out of the solar system.
Well, it didn't pass Pluto yet.
It hasn't?
No.
Oh, so yeah.
Because if we
Kuiper
did,
belt.
we'd have some really nice pictures of Pluto. If it did.
Is it still transmitting pictures?
Well, yeah, but it's
That's
just
really impressive for 1970s technology.
yes.
1970s?
It's one. Yeah, it might be Voyager or Cassini. I don't know, but there's one that's approaching Pluto, and it's gonna approach. I get there, I believe, 2017, something like that. Either way, pretty soon we're gonna have some pretty nice pictures of Pluto, which is good. I remember watching I was really into space when I was younger, and watching this.
And now.
This 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 video that was 1995. Like I think it might have been. It was like along the lines of like really really old like educational program, right?
Right.
Uh,
Today in the universe.
no, not from the 1950s. Jeez, okay. Listen, but yeah, and they had all the planets and there were pictures of them except for Pluto, which was just this badly rendered like gray ball because it was like the 1990s and they
Yeah.
just didn't have the technology to render it properly, not like today.
It's like a ball. It's like a ping pong ball on a string. You can see it bouncing a little bit.
No, it like if any model was it was a geosphere, right? So it's just like a sphere but completely faceted with squares, right, or
Right.
rectangles, right? And it was just so obvious, like the color, like there was no color blending at all or anything like that. And for the better part of like a week, I wondered like why does this planet look so much different than all of the others?
All right, is because the technology is just shite.
Yeah. Man, Pluto, I mean, I guess it's technically not a planet anymore, right?
Nope.
Thanks, Neil deGrasse Tyson. No, I'm just kidding.
God.
Great. 10 out of 10. Cosmo Season 2, hoping for it. But,
I can't wait. Cosmo Season 1 was fantastic. Got a lot of people into science.
man, good on Pluto having 3 moons. That's great. It's better than us.
Does it?
Yeah, Charon, or Charon, however you pronounce it. Nix and Hydra, which are really tiny. They're
Yeah,
like
well, I can imagine how tiny they'd be.
Yeah, they're like the Deimos and Phobos of Pluto, if you get that reference. Yeah, those are Mars' moons, by the way. Anyway, yeah, I think we should start to wrap it up. Why not?
Because we're rambling. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what we
we're
do.
just rambling, because
Rambling,
space is
gambling,
pretty
man.
good, though. So, yeah,
Space is pretty fucking big.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's-
if you know that.
it's not... Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
It is such a huge technological feat that we managed to get anywhere near the comet, let alone on it.
Especially with this sort of delay between it. Anyway.
Actually, at the launch, they actually had to delay 3 days because of weather. They were originally going to go for a different comet. In those 3 days, they did the calculations for the other comet that we're on now. Because they were delayed, they had to pick a different one because the windows changed.
Nice. Delay due to weather. That's like...
We can send
Man.
things into space, but a cloudy day will set you back.
Alright, well, man, the SpaceX flight crashed, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. And okay, nothing about that, maybe some other time. But yeah, this has been Sylvie from GoateaProductions.
And this has been Sean from GoateaProductions.
Thank you for listening to our ramblings.
And we'll see you next time.
I want to just put the pre-ramble at the end usually, just like after the video's on. It's just like, there's nothing for a couple seconds,
Like,
then just
fade out.
Yeah,
And then
just
talking
yeah,
again.
and then just bum 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 like that for some reason.